This is the 2013 Porsche 918 Spyder, and this is the 2017 NC1 Acura NSX, widely considered the first hybrid hypercar and the first hybrid supercar. These two cars showcase how hybrid technology can boost performance and driving experience, but in different ways. Take the 918 Spyder. This was one of the first production cars to fully embrace hybrid technology for outright performance. It's part of the holy trinity of hybrid hypercars, and Porsche actually began taking orders for the 918 before McLaren did for the P1 or Ferrari did for the LaFerrari. The 918 pairs a naturally aspirated 4.6-liter V8 with two electric motors. Together, they produce 887 horsepower and 944 pound-feet of torque, with 608 horsepower from the engine and 281 horsepower from the electric motors. But the key thing is how that hybrid system is used. The 918 wasn't designed just to boost acceleration. It was designed to function as a legitimate electric car when needed. Now compare that to the NSX. This was the first production hybrid supercar, and it was built with a very different goal. The NSX combines a twin turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 with 3 electric motors for a total of 573 horsepower and 476 pound-feet of torque, with 500 horsepower from the engine and 119 horsepower from the electric motors. Because the engine and motors peak at different times, the horsepower total isn't as high as if they all peaked at the same time. On paper, the NSX's total of 573 horsepower is about 64% of the 918's, and the 476 pound-feet is roughly half the rated combined torque, which is impressive when you remember that the NSX is a supercar going up against a hypercar. The difference becomes even clearer when you look at the electric motors themselves. In the 918, the front electric motor alone produces about 127 horsepower, and the rear motor adds another 154. In the NSX, the two front electric motors make combined 72 horsepower, and the rear motor contributes about 47. But that's not a weakness, it's a design choice. The 918's motors are sized to provide sustained electric driving and serious propulsion. The NSX's motors are all about response. Each front wheel gets its own electric motor, which means the car can actively torque vector through corners. Instead of just adding speed, the hybrid system is constantly shaping how the car drives. That same philosophy carries over to the batteries. The 918 uses a 6.8 kilowatt-hour liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack with 312 cells. The NSX, on the other hand, uses a much smaller, roughly 1.3 kilowatt-hour air-cooled pack with just 72 cells. That means the NSX stores only 19% of the 918's energy. The result of that difference is pretty straightforward. The 918 can drive in full EV mode for about 12 miles, while the NSX manages roughly 1 to 2 miles under ideal conditions. There's another big reason for that. The 918 is a plug-in hybrid. You can start your drive with a fully charged battery and intentionally run the car electrically. The NSX is not a plug-in. It has to earn every bit of electric energy through regenerative braking or engine-driven generation. In other words, the NSX uses electricity as a performance tool, not as stored fuel. When you look at the performance numbers, they represent the different designs. The 918 ran 6 minutes and 57 seconds at the Nürburgring, compared to about 7 minutes and 36 seconds for the NSX. The Porsche runs the quarter mile in the high 9s, while the NSX is in the low 11s. 0 to 60 comes in around 2.4 seconds for the 918 and about 2.9 seconds for the NSX. But the NSX still has a technical first of its own. It introduced the first 9-speed dual-clutch transmission ever used in a production car. The 918 uses a 7-speed PDK. That extra gearing in the NSX wasn't about chasing top speed. It was about keeping the hybrid system responsive and seamless in real-world driving. So, while the Porsche 918 is the more extreme machine, it was built to show what hybrid technology could do when cost and complexity weren't limiting factors. But the NC1 NSX does something arguably just as important. It takes that technology and turns it into a supercar that's usable and, at least in relative terms, attainable. Back in 2013, the MSRP for a base 918 was $845,000, while the 2017 NSX started at $156,000. That means the NSX cost only 18% of what the 918 cost. Today, that same 918 is now around the $2 million range, while the same NSX starts in the $120,000 range. The 918 showed what hybrids could achieve at the absolute top. The NSX showed how that same idea could actually work in the real world. Thank you for watching.